Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Bear Market 5's episode 2 with me, Atina, and Neil, or a great friend and analyst within AR Collective. And yeah, we're gonna have a little conversation with him. You guys gonna know more about Neil, and yeah, hope you guys enjoy.
All right, so we have Neil on the podcast for the first time. I think we're gonna have Neil multiple times on the podcast if he wants to. So Neil, welcome. How do you feel about being on the podcast?
Welcome.
Hey guys, what's up, Retta? What's up, Athena? Thanks for having me on here. I'm so excited.
We're very happy to have you, man. Everyone's been asking for you to hop on a bit. So we'll first start off with how long you've been in crypto. How'd you get in it? What brought you to crypto?
Yeah, so basically, my journey in crypto has been about 3 years coming now. I started in 2020. Basically, just looking at investing was my main goal at that point. It was basically just a mixture of Bitcoin and ETH during the 2020 cycle, during the Rona cycle that time. And at that point, I knew nothing about TA. It was definitely like more of a more I was more of a DCAer and a more of a fundamental analysis player back then. I was just I anything I could buy to get my hands on, I just did it when if I found something cool about it. But anyways, since then, I think it was in 2021 where I joined a server that had Athena and Retta in it. It was early 2021, and going on from there, it was basically not until we started AR that I started learning TA seriously and wanted to try get into leverage trading some more. And basically, I've been doing TA and leverage trading for about a year now, and I think that was just a time where I started feeling like I had more control over what I was doing in the space. I would be investing a lot smarter if I learned TA. I would have all the variables in front of me, and that's why I encourage anyone to learn TA because even if you like a certain coin, you can do things with TA that you wouldn't be able to know if you didn't have that skill set. And so that really changed my whole look on trading and about the space. And I haven't looked back from there. So I've been just enjoying the markets for the past year. It's been a crazy bear market so far. It seems like we've had so much volatility in stories, but man, it's been one of the best years I've had in crypto, that's for sure.
That's amazing. And by the way, your growth has been insane. Like we met you back in 2021, but you're a little bit of a newcomer back then. But to see your growth throughout the years has been insane, just mind blowing. If you guys don't look at Neil's trades, I mean, you guys are definitely slacking because Neil's been printing absolutely ripping this bear market. He's been making this bear market his well, I wouldn't say it, right, we don't want to cuss, but he's been definitely destroying this bear market for sure, so definitely don't sleep on his trades. But yeah, growth
Man,
has been amazing. You've been absolutely killing it, and we're very very proud to see how you've developed. I mean, you're doing things now that people that have been in the space for years haven't even gotten to the point to be able to do, so you should definitely be proud of yourself in that regard.
Yeah,
yeah,
also to add, man, besides, the trades are amazing, but also you're very consistent in what you do, you keep learning. Even 2 years ago, when you're always popped up into the streams, you know. Like I don't want to say like you were a beginner, but we had to like teach you here and there or gi- give you tips back then. But you kept, joining the streams, keep learning, and and the most important thing, finding your own style, man, and then stick with it. So I think that's a big thing that you did. Just sticking with your own style and not changing it up too many times,
yeah. I think I really appreciate both of you guys for saying that. It means a lot that it's been quite the journey for me in terms of TA and trading this past year. I've been really spending like every day doing it just because I feel like consistency and a routine with learning is so important. And that's basically from the beginning of 23. It has mostly been a culmination of me learning TA on my own, as well as all the other analysts and leaders that have been in our community and others that have really helped me out. I think AR is such an amazing community from its inception. And I actually did classes with both you, Athena, and Retta in January 21. I'm pretty sure. I think I always remember those because I think that first class I had with Athena is the first time I learned about like trend lines and Fibonacci and horizontal
Oh
support and
man.
resistance. And it was a real eye
Forgot
opener.
about that, man. That those classes. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh,
Yeah,
so long time ago. Yeah, true.
dude, Retta, in that class I took with you, it was great because it was the first time I learned about like back testing strategies. I learned about how to draw weekly and daily lines. You showed me how to use EMAs and your settings like that, and I was literally amazed because I could, for the first time, I could really see that essentially like there were a pattern in these charts that you can back test and follow and use for possible future price action. And I just can't believe how well it works. So that really, like, both those classes seriously piqued my interest. So I honestly have you two to thank for this.
Aw.
Also yourself, right? Like yourself.
Yourself, yeah. You're the
Yeah,
one who put
yeah,
in the work. We just share
yeah,
what we know and you put in the work. And I think that's a very important part is anybody can make it. It's all about work ethic. It's all about putting in that work and that work sucks, you know. I'm sure there are times when you were, learning where you were just frustrated, right? Um,
Ex-
about
yes.
trading. Because sometimes you pick up a strategy or you learn something, and you're like, yeah, it's playing out. And then it starts not playing out. You get frustrated, but it's all about putting in that work.
yeah. And
Yeah.
the thing is, Neil, like 100 people can take those classes or they can watch streams or whatever, but there's only maybe 5 people that really like, soak it in and they do it, man. They put in the work, like that's the sad part, Like there's not many people that actually will, do what you do, just keep grinding and grinding. Even, there's also losses, right? And you learn from those losses. And yeah, that's what you're mastering right now, which is awesome, man.
Yeah, I seriously appreciate you guys. Like, that is one thing that I also have had to like take into account when I've been learning. Um, Basically after those classes I went down a rabbit hole of TA. I would read different online like classes about Fibonacci, about volume profiles, things like that, that helped me just hone my skills. But honestly, it was actively paper trading and then starting out trading with smaller amounts of money that really got me to where I am. Just because practice in this space with trading, doing live trading, is so key to me, because then you're more invested in the price action. You have something on the line, so you tend to pay more attention to what's happening and closely examine it. And that's really what like led me to where I am, is honestly just being in the space for more time, taking more trades. You start to just get a secondhand knowledge of these candlesticks and the patterns they play and they make, and that really is what helped me in trading, I think. um, but yeah, that's basically where I'm at with that at this point.
That's amazing. That's, yeah, like I mentioned, mind blowing to see your growth. Now, tell us a little bit, right? You have like 2, 3 jobs at the moment that you're doing simultaneously and trading. How are you doing that? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What are you like? Maybe you want to say how old you are, what kind of job do you do, Yep.
Yeah. So I do have like 2 to 3 jobs at the moment. It's been interesting. So I'm 25 years old. Um, Basically, I've had a bachelor's degree in biology from my local college. I was pre-med, and that's basically, I was in my last year of my bachelor's degree is when I discovered crypto, and then that kind of led me down a path to where I realized like I didn't want to be a pre-med anymore or go to med school. I wanted to spend time doing what I love, and crypto started becoming that. And so basically, I got my associates in nursing after that, while I was getting like my first hands on crypto at the time. And then from there, at this point, I have 2 different nursing jobs. I work on medical surgical floors here in town. Um, I just got my last job for nursing. I got another, like an as needed position 2 weeks ago, actually. So I realized like one thing that I'm really passionate about is just doing everything you can at the young age I am during this 20s to 30s time, just grinding because we have, you know, this is in my opinion, like the peak of our lives. And so making the most out of it while I can before, any possible like health problems or just even having kids and getting busier. Like I want to be able to do everything I can before that. And so like waking up early, getting doing my different nursing jobs. I'm also while do work at AR, I'm also a community manager at a company called Blockmate. It's a fintech company that works with using their API with different other companies. They're partnered with like MasterCard and different tax sites as well, like Coinly. And so, yeah, those are the different things I'm doing at the moment. And I'm also starting real estate school soon, just
Oh
because
my
I want to be
god.
able. Yeah, yeah. So I just want to be able to get my license for that and work towards being a broker one day. I think real estate and investing as a whole is something I'm really interested in and something that I've worked with my dad in a lot of the times before this. And so, yeah, I would love to be able to do that as well as crypto. And I not only do I work with crypto and trade crypto, I trade stocks as well. And so that's basically been another component to my trading portfolio that I've incorporated this last year. And so it's been great comparing and learning about the different types of price action that's out there.
Dude, you are on it. Like I recently, started a job at a Web3 company full time, but it's been a hassle to do both and trade, and you're doing pretty much four jobs at this point, and that's really incredible. And it's amazing that, you're able to do all these things at the same time. And you're starting school too, which is also insane. Like you're on it, absolutely on it. So how's this year been for you? How's 2022 been for you? Well, I guess the beginning of 2023 as well.
Yeah, it's been great so far. 2022, like I said, was like my first big year trading and learning trading. And so going into 2023, um, I feel like crypto wise, things have been especially great in terms of price action and trading. The volatility has made this such a fun space to be in to start the year. And so I think 2023 is starting out amazingly. And what I'm really grateful for and what I'm proud of myself for is for taking the time like almost every day, even on the weekends, whenever I had extra time to study the charts and to just peruse fundamental analysis for different coins. 2022 is definitely a year where I can be happy with what I've done, and I hope to continue progressing. And it's just so like I'm the shameless plug here for AR because our community is seriously like one of the biggest drivers for my success this past year. Like I know that for like 100% certainty. The different members we've had there and the different leaders like you guys and some others have really helped me become comfortable with what I'm doing and given me the drive to keep going whenever I've made mistakes or if I've had a string of bad trades. Our members are really kind about it and just lift me up. And I can't really see any other community being like that. It's been amazing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, we like to teach about, staying humble, man. I think that's the key, if you want to make it in this space, just stay humble, man. You make good trades or bad trades. I think both ways you need to stay humble about it. That's where people make the biggest mistake when they win a couple trades. Happened with me too. You feel unstoppable. I bet you had that feeling sometimes too. You keep winning trades and then you overtrade and then it goes downhill. So yeah.
Yep, I've definitely had that feeling before. It's ego is definitely one of the biggest parts of trading that is really hard to get over and to be able to rise above. Um, Getting into a mindset that you can't lose anymore, especially if you've grown a portfolio at that point, is really dangerous to have because if one trade where you just go in too heavy that you didn't work hard enough to get the TA done on that you were just half-heartedly going into can erase months, if not years of work, depending on how hard you went into it. And that's really what people, I think, would be great to just incorporate in their trading is trading based on a set strategy, a method with a TA they know, and that's how you just stay consistent. Smaller gains equals like compounding in the long term is kind of the method I use.
Yeah, and that's a really good point you brought up is less is more. Less is really more, and just the consistency aspect of it is the most important that you have to implement as a trader, because it doesn't matter, you know, how many trades you win. If you get that one shitty trade where you go, you know, too heavy, you get cocky about, all that is wiped out. So you get, you know, life-changing money and you can lose it twice as fast, you know, fucking around, you know, with your trading. So consistency is definitely key. I did want to ask you, you did buy in around the same time I bought in terms of spot. What got you to pull the trigger during that time? I think people would be very interested to know.
Yeah, so you mean in like this past like month or so, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so basically I know exactly what you mean. I think that one of the biggest things that led me to buying spot is Bitcoin, in my opinion. There was just a couple of variables that first led me to believe that it was ready for an upside move. Um, Talking TA here, there was daily and weekly bullish divergence forming from our previous lows in November up to our later lows in the same month. And going on from that, a lot of coins, including Ethereum and other altcoins, were showing great bullish patterns for more upside. Lots of different harmonics. I'm a harmonic trader, and I incorporate them in my TA all the time. There's a couple of people that have helped me learn about that, and Retta knows them, and they're just great people to have in the space. But um, I always have so many people to thank for being able to learn what I learned. But going back to just buying spot at the time, I think that getting to such low risk areas after having such a brutal bear market for a lot of these coins is what led me to at least buy in. Um, it's one of those things that the risk reward from where we could go up to for a lot of these coins back to their all time highs versus what we could maybe capitulate even more to was just too much favoring the upside for me to not want to be in. And so those are the main reasons why I wanted to get in spot at the time I did. But yeah, that's basically what I was looking at.
Awesome. Awesome,
Awesome.
yeah. Because it's really hard to be able to pull the trigger, and I think a lot of people now are saying, "Oh, I should have." But in that moment, was it like a sure thing that you were like 100% this shit's going up, or was it like, "Hey, I'm looking at this from a risk to reward standpoint. We're at low prices. I'm gonna just pull the trigger."
It was definitely a risk reward standpoint, not 100% certainty. And once people learn to accept that with their trading and investing, that you're going to be wrong more times than you're right, a lot of times, you can accept the fact that you're doing everything simply based on a risk reward ratio. And I really mean that for trading and for possible moves to the upside in terms of where we could go based on previous price action in different market cycles to where we have been as well. And so, yeah, it was definitely not a certainty, but things like type 2 returns, higher lows, things like that. Ethereum was printing a nice higher low on a weekly time frame, and just divergences. All of these different factors really led me to at least want to be get. I think I was probably like half exposed to the market at this at the current bottom that we were at in early. I think it was late December. But yeah, that's basically where I was at with that.
Amazing,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh, go ahead, Griff.
yeah, yeah. Like you know, usually share the thought that you always have to be exposed. You know, like I always say, hey, because I'm always 20% exposed to the market, always. Like I'm never like 100% in cash. You know, just in case we have these rallies, right? Like you want to have exposure, and you know, we had this conversation before, Neil. Like it's harder to buy a bottom right than a top. And you know, a top is very easy to buy because everybody is buying, right? But buying the bottom is the hardest thing. You know, it's so hard, man. But the good thing is when you, like you said, you learn TA, then it doesn't really matter, right? You can just then ride the uptrend. You can buy a higher low, for example. You know, you buy when we have important structure break, you know, to the upside. And you know, now what I say now is, hey, if this is a true bull market, which in my opinion is not still, you know, if we look at TA, then you have like front row tickets, you know, like then you are in the beginning of something, you know, great. So it's just an important message we should share, you know, like it's not late or whatever, you know, it's very, very, very early, like very early. Like again, you have front row tickets, so
Yeah,
it's
and it's
all
just
good.
people are saying, "Oh, I missed it. I missed the bottom. I missed the bull market." And it's, you know, if you zoom out to your favorite altcoin, it's still down about 80, 90%. So, yeah, you might have missed 10, 20, 30%, but your coin's still down a whole lot, you know. But that brings
Yeah,
into the point of it's very hard to buy when the sentiment is so, you know, the opposite way. You're literally going against everybody else, you know, buying in when everybody's saying, oh, Bitcoin's going to go to 5K. That's super hard to do. And what's harder to do is calling it out to others that may be following what you're doing. I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to make calls when other people's money is at stake per se. So how has it been for you getting into making these calls? Like how has that been for you? Yeah.
yeah. So I will say like one thing that I think I've done a lot is making calls in general for the past 6 months to a year. And the only reason that I think I've grown so comfortable doing it is I only can do it if I have the consistency in my own trades that I can be proud of. And so until I reach that level, I would not be comfortable giving other people my thoughts on this market just because if you can't succeed on your own and you just jump into a place where you're a person looked up to, that you're respected, then you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. And so, yeah, I think it's been quite the journey for me. There have been some up and downs when it comes to terms to giving calls to others, just because like I said, in trading, one of the strongest tools you could have is to know you're not going to be right all the time. And that has happened with me as well. And so, whenever those times have come where my trades haven't been profitable, they haven't been successful for one or two or however many, and other people have lost money along with me, it's a sour feeling. But just knowing that not giving up and staying consistent with your strategy will keep you profitable going forward is what has done it for me.
Yeah,
Well said.
that's a good point. And also it's important, you know, as a trader, you have to switch your bias, right? Yeah, you can be bearish, and then, you know, you have to switch it up if the charts tells you to switch up, you know, you cannot ignore it. So yeah,
Yeah.
something very hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, like, you know, there's always a point, yeah, oh, you know, there's some, you know, people on Twitter, right? They're saying, oh, it's still gonna go to 5K. Yeah, it may be, you know, but if the chart tells you, hey, there's a, you know, something is happening, which is very significant, you know, like on a weekly time frame, especially, you know, like that's a huge time frame that takes a lot of, you know, months to play out. If that's playing out, man, you cannot just ignore that. But you always have that factor of risk management, right? Because you also in this journey you learned a lot about risk management. You know, you always like risk to reward, you got the trade, but then you always look at the other side. Hey, okay, but for example, Dixie, right? They said multi-year support levels that can bounce. You know, the S&P trend line, we can reject there, and you always are prepared for that if that happens. So you have your stop loss in and all that stuff. I think that's important as well for if you want to like succeed, have the risk already like managed before it happens. You know.
100%. I completely agree with that. Having your risk managed before you enter trades and before you do anything actively is really the main strategy that I would like to get behind and to advise and to tell others that just being able to have a trading plan and to know what you will do if things go wrong, having those stop losses in place, DCAs in place, anything you need beforehand is really what gets you to that finish line in the end. And so one thing that, yeah, like you guys were saying about like a higher low on charts, looking at Bitcoin, seeing it form that higher low at the moment around, I think we formed the higher low around 16,800. One thing that really led me to want to get back into just putting more money from my USDT portfolio into spot was the fact that we saw that higher low in the charts, as well as the lack of volatility was getting to such an important point. I think there was a very big growth of complacency in the market before this move up for the past like month or two. Nothing was really happening price action wise. I think Christmas had one of the lowest volatilities on record for Bitcoin. It was really honestly that point where I started increasing my exposure to spot and because the more complacency there is in the market, the more people are bored with it. I think that's when they like market makers like to strike.
Yeah, something very
Yeah.
funny as well. But when you see the Discord, a bit inactive, that's also a sign, when the markets are down, the inactivity is down in the Discord itself, then okay, something is going on, everybody is like flustered out and stuff, those are all signs you have to take this very seriously, man.
Yeah, yeah, I remember on this, like, I think it was the second day of this year. I was posting a lot of altcoin charts in our Discord, and then I told everyone, I alerted them. I was like, so many different charts are looking like they have potential to go up. We're in low risk areas showing bullish factors, bullish divergence, low levels on the RSI. So many things led me to believe that I told everyone this is the time to be scanning the charts, to be looking at the markets as a potential buy point when everything is boring, not in a few weeks when we're up 20%
Yep.
on your favorite altcoin. And that is exactly what happened. Like I don't mean to say it in a bragging way, but that's we ended up doing a 20 to 30% pump on coins. And then now everyone's once back in the market and they're feeling FOMO. And that's why I think the importance of being there and being active is always going to be a key factor in your success.
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
and it's hard, from an investing standpoint. It's hard to go and pull the trigger when everybody else is like bored out of their minds or just no hope whatsoever. It's hard, but those are the best times to capitalize because when the move does happen, you're gonna be the first one on the bus, and everybody else is late, and they're gonna want to get in. And I think that's what we've seen in even Twitter. If you guys have been looking at the sentiment now,
Oh,
people
yeah.
are max FOMO at the moment. Like, fuck, I missed it. Like, just
Yep.
salty. But then again, it's like we were at these low prices. You saw Bitcoin at 15. You saw these altcoins breaking, at their lows of 2020, actually, some of them. Some even lower. Like, why don't you at least scaling a bit? Like, you don't have to fully deploy your capital, but if you're looking at your favorite coin, it's down 99%, it's sitting at support, it's not moving much, put in a little bit and see what happens. Because when that
Well,
move happens, you're going to be
yeah,
on it.
but I've been there as well a couple years. It's harder than you think, man, because when you see because it's only been like 1 month ago, I think 2 months ago since FTX went down. It's a big deal that happened. And I don't think those things scared a lot of people away, and we also have to factor in, there was this and it's still a problem, right? The inflation rate and the funds rate and everything. So it's a bunch of things, coming together, and then it's hard then to say, yeah, let's buy now, like it's hard. It's not easy at all,
100%,
yeah,
100%. And I think
it's even harder than those years ago. Like those years ago, we didn't had inflation. Yeah, we had FUD, but this was next level, man. Like I
peak
never
fear.
experienced this before.
Peak fear. And
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
there's you are bringing up a really important point. Is we didn't have this last summer. Last summer we did have fear, and it was shitty. But this type of fear is like a whole new level. You had, established VCs dying out. You have established coins dying out. Inflation, ridiculous. There's a lot of factors for sure that played on the
Recession
reasoning.
talks,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the reasoning behind not buying. So it's hard. It's definitely hard, and I've been there. I was there in the summer, and I did the same thing. I just was scared. I was like, no, we're gonna go lower. I'm gonna buy lower. But that was my mindset. I was like, I don't give a shit about what happens, what's in the market at the moment. I see low prices, I'm buying. I don't care if everybody and their moms is against me. I don't care if the world's coming out, I'm gonna buy. And that was my plan, but it's hard. And even after I bought, I was like, man, I don't know if that was the right decision, because looking at the charts, I kept going down and just, the sentiment was bad. But eventually it does play out. It's just the hard part is clicking on that buy button when everybody is against you.
In the same way, it is hard to click on the sell button, So it's just like typical market psychology that you have to apply, man. And that's why, we do all these streams and Neil does his calls, we try our best, to give our view on the market. Are we always right? Hell no. We're not always right, but at least we try to do our best to give, the knowledge that we gained over the past years, to everyone in the server. And yeah.
Hell yeah, well said. So Neil, let's talk about what you like about this space. What is your favorite thing about this space?
Okay, so this is an interesting question. The I think my favorite thing that I like about the space is essentially same thing that I don't like about the space, just in a different vein. And it is the relationships that have formed as a result of this market. And I think that what I like the most is how Bitcoin and crypto in general has really fostered a new, I guess, realm of thought and honestly, like a hobby for a lot of people that all of us can relate to. I think that one thing that's beautiful about it is that all of us, and for example, AR, we're from around the world. And I don't think that I would have such a relatable thing to everyone if not being it for crypto. Like, I think it's one of the most like uniting ideas that are out there at the moment that people all around the world can like and want to be part of. Um, and I think that's probably the thing I like the most is all these new relationships and friendships that I've made and everyone that I've taught are from around the world. I was doing some tutoring, and that's another thing I do for crypto and TA is I tutor and I teach people how the methods that I use and that sort of thing. And so the guy I was teaching, he was from Australia, and I thought that was so cool because I got to talk to a guy with different culture, different values, and I wouldn't have had that opportunity without crypto. I think that's like my favorite thing about the space. And I think there's a lot of people that are willing to learn and willing to bounce ideas off each other and that you can teach. And it makes me feel like I have another purpose in this world, and that's to let everyone know what I know in a way.
That's awesome. And it's fulfilling too, like being able to help others and, you know, having them learn and grow is such a fulfilling thing. I think that's one of the biggest things that Retta and I have enjoyed since, we started being knowledgeable enough to share what we know is helping others. And we've done it for free for quite a while. But it's really nice and fulfilling to be able to help others and seeing them grow and do great things in this space. But yeah, you mentioned that you wouldn't be able to talk to someone from across the world if it wasn't for crypto. I've met people that were from countries I didn't even know existed. It's wild. It's amazing. So now that we covered what you like about this space, what do you not like about this space?
Yeah, and then factor in the trading community. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's for me the thing that I don't like about this space. There are like two things. One thing is the sheer amount of scams that are out there in terms of phishing, in terms of scam coins. I think that cleaning up this space is definitely something that needs to happen, however possible, in the next coming years if we want crypto to become an emerging market in terms of globalization around the world as well as gain market share. Is that just finding ways to eliminate these scams that are hurting people in terms of just stealing money, hacking, and things like that. I think just that's one thing that I don't like about crypto that I think is part of any emerging market. And so it's just like ironing out the wrinkles for that. And I think the other thing is kind of what Reddit touched on is there's a lot of toxicity in the Twitter community about crypto. I think that just the fact that so many people are divisive about which way price action will go, about which coins and projects they're like. There's a lot of tribalism out there. And then there's just a lot of, I think there's a lot of conflict in terms of whenever you are in a sector that has anything to do with money, I think something that people care about as much as their wealth creates a lot of conflict and a lot of um, well, I think a good way to put it is just like disconnect and a lot of different opinions. And so I don't think differing opinions are necessarily always a bad thing, but when it comes to the hate associated with it, a lot of times that's where I kind of draw the line for it.
Yeah. So especially when, I love hearing other people's opinions, especially about the market.
Yep.
I hate people that are like, oh, you're saying we're going to go up. I say we're going to go down. You're an idiot for that. That's the kind of toxicity that I definitely agree with you on that. It's not cool. It's not okay because it's a 50-50 scenario. One person's going to win, one person's going to lose. But either way, you're hearing their opinion about it. And there's been times where I had an opinion about the market. Someone else had a different opinion and they were right. And I listened to them. I disagreed, but it is what it is. Everybody can have their own opinion about the market. Everybody's TA is different. Everybody's strategy is different. But that's the beauty about this space is you can learn from different people. They have different opinions. You can take what they're saying. You can analyze what they're saying. But at the end of the day, it's your own strategy that you're following.
Like also to add on that, also, I think Neil, you see it too. We spoke about it. Like people that keep saying, "Oh, ha ha ha, you missed the bottom," or "Ha ha ha, you missed the top." I think that's the arrogancy I'm talking about, and people not being humble enough. Okay, cool, man. You catch the bottom or you catch the top. Like that doesn't mean anything, instead of like laughing at others, then just teach them the ways how you did it, right? Oh, you catch the top. Oh, that's cool. Like how did you do it? Or you did catch the bottom, or how did you? But the most important thing is not about like the bottom or the top, man. It's in between. Like you missed the bottom, but you can learn how to analyze the chart and catch the uptrend, for example. The same way you don't have to catch the Pico top, but you can catch like the distribution phase. You can learn about like lower highs on a higher time frame and catch like like a downtrend and like save yourself from a lot of losses. So yeah, people don't want to pick the in between. You know what I mean? So
hmm Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. I think that, in all honesty, there's a lot of emphasis placed around hitting tops and bottoms and buying in at bottoms or selling tops in this market. And obviously, there's the monetary aspect of that, but it's also, I think, definitely like an ego aspect, wanting to be able to tell people that you caught the bottom or hit the top and not, and then there's not the same sort of emphasis pace. On like DCAing at different levels and going from level to level in price without trying to forecast what might happen after that. I think the traditional TA I use, like I said, is about risk reward and about buying at low risk and selling at higher risk areas and going from level to level because we don't know where price is going to go. We can just use traditional TA to give us an edge in our trading and investing. And that's basically what one thing I've learned about the past year. It's just crazy to me, honestly, at this point, like how everything in terms of TA has progressed for me. It's been so nice, just like thinking about where I started in 2022 in AR to where I am now. Like I said, learning, doing those different tutoring streams with you, Athena, and Retta, going from that to just being in chat every day, I finally got the confidence to start leverage trading. And then it was funny. I think Athena opened like a member trade section at one point, and so that's kind of where I started bouncing off my ideas. And I think I was using like OKX or like a smaller exchange at the time,
It was
and I
OKX,
just like
yeah.
yeah, I just like cringe thinking of that now. I was like paying like such a buttload of fees at that point. Oh my gosh. But anyways, like it was just so great because like everyone was so nice and receptive to my trades. Shout out to Cher Berry. She was my number one fan at the time. That was just like people like her. I can't thank enough because it gave me the confidence to keep posting and to know someone actually appreciated like what I was doing as well at the same time. And I got that from so many people. And then just doing that over and over, it felt so nice. I think was I think the first analyst you guys hired from the group.
Yeah, you
No,
were uh
no, right?
you were one of the first, but the first internal analyst we've ever had.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
yeah,
Because that was our plan from the beginning, you know. We're all about teaching others, but we want others to be able to progress to that point where if they want to and they choose to, they can teach others. And you were the first one who just absolutely killed it. We've been watching you grow these past, this past year, past months. And it was just great. And I'm so happy that you were able to find that confidence within yourself to be able to continue to push, because that's the hard part, is the beginning stage of it, right? Once you start making those calls. And when I started making calls myself, that was that was the scariest shit I've ever done, because I was like, oh my god, people are actually following me. They're gonna lose money. I don't know
yeah,
how receptive they'll be to if I lose money. I don't know how it's gonna go. And at that point, when I first started, I was in a toxic server. I was in a very toxic server. So when I won trades, they were just going crazy. When I lost trades, they were like, oh, what the fuck, they were just toxic. And I think an important part of that is being in a very you know nice community where people are friendly, people understand that you can't win all the time, and we will continue to push each other. That's the main idea, and I'm happy that you were able to find that confidence. But yeah, you were the first one, and you know absolutely crazy. That was our main idea when we first started ARs. We wanted to be able to have people kind of move up in terms of knowledge and skill set and be able to teach others. And yeah, proud of you. Very, very proud of you.
Thanks. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are the ones that kind of noticed me at the time, and thanks to you, I think I was able to make more of a name for myself. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll always remember that.
yeah. No, no problem, man. I mean, and like, so you've been watching the stars, right, for the past year. So what's your opinion about the market at the moment, and yeah, for the upcoming years? Because I'm hearing a lot of things on Twitter, right, like, oh, new bull market and all that stuff, right? So people are all confused, which is normal after like a move up like this, right? Bitcoin was very illiquid, the volume was low, like you said, right? Before like history lows. It's not that hard to pump price up like this. Yeah. So what do you think? And you have to like f- factor in the whole package, right? With the inflation, with all the situation we're going through. Like what do you think?
Yeah, so I think in terms of the crypto markets, for the next like upcoming year and coming up, like, is this a new bull market? Are we still in a bear market? At the moment, I'm seeing on the charts for uh, total market cap and Bitcoin. I mean, we haven't made a higher high yet, and until we get above, like, in my opinion, 24,000, we technically haven't made a higher high on the weekly chart. And so I think we've been making higher lows, and that's good. But to be able to really call it a bull market, and it's really difficult to like use that vernacular too, because until we're in like I think the depths of the bull market, we won't really like fully understand that we're really going to go to those higher, almost to all-time high prices. I really like playing things level by level most of the time, and watching the chart for more bullish market structure and that sort of thing to be able to make my determinations. Even going up to 30,000, we could technically still be in a bear market until we
Hmm.
make higher lows, until we make higher highs. That's where we can more so draw the line. It's just really difficult at this point to know. We could also just range for the next year between, for example, 20,000 and 30,000 without being able to break into that higher range between 30,000 and 69,000 all-time highs. So we never know where we're going until we actually get there, obviously, but we can make good risk to reward decisions in terms of our trading and investments of if we think it'll go up over the long term. And I'm a believer in the space for sure. I think crypto and different decentralized banking applications and different projects are really important to our world and can be to our future. I think being bankless and not having to worry about middlemen and be able to take control of your own money is a big part of our future. And that's why I do believe in the long term success of crypto as a whole down the line.
Tough, man. Yeah. Hey, Atina, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. No, I think the same thing, man. Yeah. I think we can. You know, I was just worried because I thought your PC went down or something.
No, no.
No. Okay. Yeah. No. I definitely agree, man. We can also arrange here, you know. But the good thing is, man, if you stuck around, like you're not losing. Like that's the most important thing. If you stuck around, you know, all this time, you're definitely not losing, man. The people that will lose, man, is the people that will like the people that are like, hey, like 4 months ago that said, you know, it's not for me, you know, I don't want to do this again. Like those people always come back at the wrong times. You know what I mean? And we've been
Mhm.
through this so many times, like a rinse and repeat cycle, right? That we said on the previous cycle, Athena. It's like a
Yeah.
rinse and repeat. Like every time the same thing happens, always.
Yeah. People leave,
So
come back at the top, buy in, lose, leave again, come back. It happens. It happens. But
but
Exactly.
the point that was also interesting, Neil, is what you said about DCA, man. Like, you know how many people on like the what you said, like the community is very toxic, right, on Twitter. Like, and they have like a very weird view about DCAing, right? In their eyes, it's a very bad strategy, you know. But that's only a bad strategy if you do it at the wrong times, in my opinion, right? Like if you DCA and you don't know TA and you DCA when the downtrend, you know, first started, yeah, that's bad, you know. But if you DCA, like you said, and the coin that you like, or an asset, or a stock, or whatever you want to invest in, and it's down 95% or something, you know, or 90%, I mean, you know, why not DCA a little, right? There's no, there's no,
I think the ones that are saying DCAing is bad on Twitter don't understand how DCAing works, right? Because you have different types of DCAing. You have the DCA that you do weekly that Coinbase has. That, in my opinion, is not the good kind of DCA. Some people see DCAing as in like you're employing most of your capital, which is not DCAing. But in you know, DCAing is important in terms of yes, even if you buy at the most inappropriate time, you can DCA lower and lower your average. So essentially, okay, you could have bought Bitcoin at, you know, say at 24K, right? Once we had that little push and people were getting a little bit of hopium. Sure, and then it went down. But then you might have bought again at, you know, 16K. And you'd still be in green, even though you bought the most inappropriate time. And I think people sleep on DCAing way too much. Like, they just absolutely sleep on it. I think a lot of people expect to be able to catch the bottom, the absolute bottom, and they will miss out.
possible. Yeah, it's impossible to
They
catch
will miss
the
out.
pick a bottom, and I'm gonna be honest here. You know, I got catched as well. Not missing the bottom or anything, but I'll also, you know, maybe being too bearish. Even I'm 20% exposed. I could done you know, a lot better. But the problem with people don't understand, and only like Neil, you understand because you do calls, and Atina will understand because you like we stream. Like when you stream every week, right? You see the price every single week and every single day, and you have so many people like watching, and you know you want to do your best to provide a little bit safety, right? Because we're not a community that we don't care. Like we really do care about everyone here, you know. Otherwise, we would not stream every week. And the same way we protected everyone, you know, we did our best to protect everyone from that huge downtrend, you know, from 60K. It's the same way, you know, we want to provide like safety by buying in like slowly, right? I think yeah, that's just very important, man.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that that mindset of wanting to keep people safe and be able to make the highest risk reward calls and different DCA points is really important to know beforehand. I think I agree with Athena when you said that. I don't like the Coinbase view of like DCAing every week and that sort of thing. I think that, like you kind of touched on, DCAing in an obvious macro downtrend from the beginning of it is where you can really lose a lot of your money, even if you're putting in only a certain amount every week. I think waiting for higher lows is really one of the surefire ways to be able to make better DCA points in different risk reward calls. And so at the moment, it's been nice with this lack of volatility up until this last week of a pump, that it was just, and that would be an opportune time to DCA because you're not losing your money day after day, week after week. We're just stagnant. So
Yeah,
that's
or the simple, when we had the call together, like I think a year ago, like when I was showing you the EMAs on a weekly, I think that's the most easy strategy you can use. Like if the price is above the weekly red line for a couple weeks straight, then like things are getting better, right? If the price is under that red line, that's not a really good moment, to do moves. Especially if it's only the beginning phase of that. So yeah, I think applying different you know, TA to your strategy is a must, man. Like I always believe like, oh, in the beginning, oh, I'll need FA. No, that's why me and Athena said, hey, let's make like a hybrid, trading approach. I was more into FA, and then Athena was more in TA. And then we said, hey, let's like combine the two. And I'm not gonna lie, man, that's been a very powerful combination because thanks to the FA, you could find the coins that were really good, right? Like the roses, like all these coins that you would not know about if you didn't do your FA, right? So you combine your FA at the right time, you apply, TA with it as well. You will be a like unstoppable force, man. In my eyes, or in my opinion.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
So Neil, let's ask you this question. What are some narratives you're kind of excited about or you think are going to do really well next run?
I think that the one that I'm most excited about are different layer twos and roll ups on Ethereum. I think that a lot of the other narratives for me are very speculative, such as like the metaverse and AI and maybe ISO 200. A lot of those banking coins, for example. The reason I like L2s and roll ups on Ethereum are Ethereum already has been vetted in a lot of ways compared to other altcoins in terms of like regulation. It's been around so long at this point. They've had successful upgrades. They're the second largest crypto. They're deflationary at this point after the proof of stake merge and everything. And being able to use rollups in L2 solutions for scaling can help create that, um, I guess, that landscape for Ethereum to where it can become dominating the space in terms of speed. It's already the, like, as they say, the 600-pound gorilla as a L2, and it has like the biggest market share in terms of DeFi, in terms of applications built on it as well. And so I think anything to do with being able to scale Ethereum for maybe more companies to get in, for more projects to build on it, is going to be a really important one for the next bull run.
I agree, man. The layer twos are going to be important because we have seen Ethereum and these other layer ones getting having it really difficult when a lot of people are using their platform, right? Especially in a bull market, like you have huge volume. And for example, for ETH is the fees, right? Like the more people that participate on the platform, the higher the fees. And it's really good that they apply like layer twos, like Optimism and Arbitrum, so they can scale up the layer one, so more people at the same time can participate and don't have to wait for long waiting for the fee to for the transaction to go through and for the fee to be high. So it's a very, very big development, man. And a lot of layer ones can learn from this, man. Ethereum has been around for 5 years, man. So yeah, nice take, man. I'm also a big fan of layer twos.
Hey, does this mean we have to switch the podcast from bear market vibes to bull market vibes?
No, it's no.
Not
Okay,
yet.
we said FA and TA combining, eh? So TA wise,
I'm
bear market. Hey, we're just thinking ahead, right? We're just thinking ahead. The narrative. Also, Neil, like I think things like gaming, right? I mean, I'm not gonna fade memes never again. Memes are gonna be definitely, you know, there. Even they're bullshit, but the money that people made on those memes in the early days, I mean, we should not fade those, man. And of course, you enter with like a small amount and whatever. But and NFTs too, man. And I think NFTs had a huge effect because the nice thing about this whole move is the NFTs had the first move, man. They started to go first, and then yeah, the rest followed, man. So
Solana
yeah,
degens, man, just starting the
yeah,
bull run.
Yep.
yep,
Yep.
yep. And
Okay,
Hey,
I
well
was
can't.
let's. Oh, go ahead, Rena.
no, I was I will say I was very wrong about Sol. Yes, I did say Sol's gonna break 8. Why? FTX had Sol, was so like everything was so bearish around Sol, and yeah, I mean they've proved me wrong, man. I talked to a dev from Sol, and I mean, you know, they still worked hard even when the world was against them. So I have to respect them, man. I definitely have to respect that. Definitely, yeah. I just hope
um,
when the bull market does come back, that they actually can, that they can, how do you say, when there are many users are using Sol, that they don't go down, you know, like 4 times a year. That they can handle the amount of people that are using everything on the chain,
Yeah,
man.
the network
So that's
outages
fingers
were.
crossed.
Oof.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
All right, Neil. I have one last question before we wrap it up. What are some of your biggest lessons that you learned this year, or mistakes that you've been in, or you've done in the market?
I think my biggest mistake was I was part of the Luna collapse whenever that coin went down. I'll always remember losing my Luna bag. I sold like a quarter of it at when it hit $100 before that, so I can always be grateful for at least that point. But that was before I really got into TA and I understood about bear markets and everything like that because man, that coin really taught me a lesson in terms of like diversification, portfolio management, and being able to just DCA out of coins whenever they're hitting all-time high after all-time high, like Luna was doing, just so I can secure more profits and be able to, in case something like that did happen, I would be a little more prepared for it. And so Luna, the whole situation taught me a lesson for sure. Going back to, I just wanted to say this. I've been, like you guys were talking about Solana, I've been a really big Soul bull for like the last year. I had Sol from like I think it was like $20 in 2021, and I sold part of it whenever it was in the 200s, and that'll always be like it was just like a crazy time. Like I was getting married at that time, and then we were on our honeymoon, and Sol was hitting $240, and I was so hyped. I was like, this is the best honeymoon ever. Oh my god. But yeah, Sol has definitely been a bit of an arrow to my heart the last couple of months, seeing everything with the FTX collapse. That's probably where I was hit the hardest. But I think that seeing the daily active users, the DAU on the chain, and seeing how much development activity has been going on there and the strides they made, I never stopped believing in it. I swapped like zero point 0.5 Bitcoin for Sol at $9 whenever it went down there. So
Good shit.
that's at least I've been DCing down, that's for sure. But yeah, I wanted to say that I am a believer in it for the next run. I think seeing a lot of the poison leave the market and a lot of these VCs like FTX and Alameda that were like manipulating price, things like that. I don't think Sol could. I think it may not go to all-time highs again, but I think with the amount of activity on the chain, like Greta said, if that continues at least, I think it has this bright future ahead of it still.
Definitely agree there. Definitely agree.
Yep. Agree, man. Yeah. Yeah. No. It's been great, man. How long we are in, man?
58
Athena?
minutes. 58.
Oh, wow.
Eh, nice.
Guys, everybody who stayed till this minute, man, big respect to you. Yeah, we, you know, this is very cool to do. No, man, I'm very excited, man, about the future of. I mean, I always said to Athena, if crypto can survive this, man, it can survive everything, man. Like, crypto survived the most horrific, like downturn it ever has seen. So, yeah, but still, like you said before, you know, I forget. You know the Luna thing that you said, right? It had a arrow in your heart. That was also a lesson that you learned that even like the most bullish coin or bullish thing that is in the market that everybody's talking about, even that can go to zero, right? Like if you have your mindset, hey, the coin that I've invested in can go to zero at any time, you know, you will be forced to take like profits always, man. Because the one thing in this space, like you cannot trust anything. Like any coin, any
Nothing is
team or whatever,
guaranteed.
it's just like nothing is guaranteed. Even like something as big as Ethereum, you never know, you know, you never know. That's the thing. You never know. I mean, like back to the risk management. That's why you want to prepare for that scenario. You always need that scenario ahead. Hey, what if this thing goes to zero? It can happen. Never say never, right? You know, you don't want to be in that position. And I think also the second thing, man, that we all have learned too, is when you secure like profits from Solana Luna, put it on your ledger, those profits. I think that's the biggest learning curve that we all learned, man. Like, don't leave that much money on exchanges and just use your ledger more, man. It's golden, man. It's only you that can have access to it.
Yeah,
Eh,
yeah, for sure. I think that another lesson that a lot of people have learned this last year is self-custody is so important in the space, and I'll definitely harp on that as being one of the most important things you can do is to have your own coins on a ledger. Don't leave your stuff on exchanges. So many people I know lost all they had in FTX, and I think that was just a really hard lesson they have to learn. A lot of great traders, a lot of people, this was their first wake-up call, and so I think me, Athena, and Retta, we've been using ledgers for a while, and we haven't luckily lost money as a result. And that's why a tried and true method such as that is something that
well,
it's
uh, sorry. Yeah, I did in
no,
the
go for it.
past. No, I said I did in the past. I did lose a lot of money on exchanges back in 17, 18. And that's why I was hammering it always in 21, 22. I was like, hey, I did lost money on exchanges, and in bear markets, exchanges rely on fees, right? In bear markets, there's enormous activity, so you know they get insolvent like really fast. So yeah, it's always good to have a ledger, man.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to go through the pain to understand why some people
Tuition
say
money,
certain
right?
things.
How is it? Tuition money, yeah, tuition
Yeah,
money
there
you
you
have to
go.
pay to the market. Yeah,
It's
And
your
I definitely paid
initiation.
that already, that's for sure.
yeah, we all did, I
We
think.
we've
All three of
all,
us did.
yeah, like this
Yeah.
year I lost money in crypto mines, which Retta, I think you did too. I don't know if you lost
Yes.
any in Neo in crypto mines.
I didn't actually play that game. That's when I
Oh,
was
you're
first
smart.
like joining that server that you guys were in, and I was like, "What is this? Like, I don't need a game for crypto." And then you guys
Yeah.
lost money, and I was like, "Okay, I'm not touching that." But
Yeah, there's a lot of stupid shit that you're still gonna, doesn't matter how smart you are, you're still gonna lose money doing some dumb shit. And I lost money in crypto mines. I set money in the wrong network this year for the first time ever. Lost that. So there's always learning lessons, and it doesn't matter how, seasoned you are. You still can fuck up sometimes, but it's all good.
Oh
It's
hell yeah.
the learning game of crypto. Just you don't know everything. You know some things, and some things you're gonna keep learning. But
exactly,
Yep.
100%, I agree with that. You're always learning and always willing to learn, and this space is so early; it's always changing. So
yeah,
having that mindset will take you far.
100%. Well, thank you, Neil, for hanging out
Thank you,
with us
man.
for an hour on this
Yeah,
podcast. We appreciate you for jumping on and sharing a little bit about yourself. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to be excited to hear you and how you came into the space and how you do your trading.
thanks for having me.
Awesome,
This has
man.
been a blast. Yeah, I've enjoyed it so much. I'm excited for people to hear this. Hopefully, if they like it, I'll be back. That would be sick. I would love that. And you guys are so knowledgeable about the space. So just taking a minute, I want to praise Reda and Athena. They've created such an amazing community with AR, and I can't thank them enough for everything they've done, for their consistency. They've been great leaders. And yeah, I'm super excited for what we have in store for the future. You guys are great leaders in the space, and I think this has been great. And I'm excited for this podcast, man. I think you guys are doing this is super cool. I'm excited to hear future episodes as well.
Thank you, man. You made me blush, man.
Almost teared up there
Oh,
for a second. I'm not going to lie.
yeah,
You guys
no,
deserve it. You
awesome.
deserve it.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So
Thank
we're
you,
going to
man.
end it
Thank you.
here. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the
Yep.
next one.
Peace.
See you.
Peace.